Every team, every topic, everywhere. This is Believe.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a special bonus edition of Zero Dark Nerdy, the world's most notorious pop culture podcast. This is your boy Brian, a.k.a. El Nino, and today I am joined with...
What's up, everybody? It's Tim Howell, the not-so-macho man.
Tim, glad to have you back, brother. Who else we got in here?
Man.
Ryan Saber, Captain Cleveland, Browns, Cavs, Indians, CLE. Till I die.
I tell you, I know we're going to get to it in a little bit, but that Monday night game was something special to watch. I will say that. A lot of people turned it off with 6 minutes left to go, and I'm glad to say that I watched the whole thing. And it wasn't really so much heartbreaking for you guys. I still am going to pull for the Browns this year. I'm still an Eagles fan, but I will always pull for the underdog as well. But big ups to Saba, the water cooler, Luke Crocker, and all the Browns fans out there. Today's episode, we are going to be talking about not all, but the majority of announcements from last week's Disney's Investors Day. A lot of cool stuff that was announced, a lot of stuff that we already knew about, which Tim was on the podcast before when we did kind of like the 2020 sneak preview as far as what was going to be coming out on Disney Plus. Obviously, when we did that podcast, we did not know that COVID was going to be striking down literally on St. Patrick's Day is when everything got shut down, at least in North Carolina. It hit California and the West Coast before us, but here on the East Coast, it was right around St. Patrick's Day where everything just kind of closed down and put an entire halt to the entertainment industry. So we're going to be talking about, Pixar films, Disney Plus, Hulu, FX, all that stuff. But before we get into that, we do want to give a big shout out to the Believe Podcast Network. And of course, one of our great sponsors, betonline.ag. And I'm going to let our man, Captain Cleveland, take it away with our little sponsor plug there.
The NFL and college football are in full swing. Playoffs are right around the corner. You might not be at the games this year, but you can still be in on the action at BetOnline. From game spreads and totals to team, player, and coaching props, BetOnline gives you more options to wager than any place online, and there is always the online casino. It never closes. So head to betonline.ag today and take advantage of all the great sign-up bonus. Again, that's betonline.ag and sign up today. BetOnline, your online sports book experts. And I encourage you every week, Luke and myself at WC Sports Pod, the water cooler, we make weekly picks. We're giving people right now this year, we're 16-2. Woo. Not bad. I would give a pick, but I don't know if this is going to air this week, so the pick will be outdated. So every week we release, most weeks we release Tuesday at noon. Every once in a while we go Thursday at noon. Not very rarely do we do that, but we make picks every single week, and we're winning money, baby. Santa, we're giving people money for Santa this year. So
straight
at WC
cash,
Sports Pod.
Love it. Well, I'll tell you what, I know you can't make a pick for this week because I believe this is probably air on Monday or Tuesday for our listeners out there. We are recording this and it is going to be available on Facebook. This is our first YouTube live episode, but there was a kind of a spread pick'em on what the Indians might change their name to. So as far as predictions, real quick, before we get into the Disney stuff, and believe me, for those of you out there, just believe me, we're going to get to all the Disney announcements, but real quick, Saba, what do you think is going to happen with as of right now, the Cleveland Indians, as far as their name goes?
Yeah, I think there's like 4 names that I'm hearing. The Spiders, which was the team's original name. Mm-hmm. The Guardians is one that I've been hearing a lot as probably the best animal option. I've heard Avengers, which I think has died off a little bit, and I've heard Commodores as well. So I think if I had to put my money on it, I would like them to be the Guardians, to be honest with you. I think that's a pretty awesome name, but it's probably going to end up being the Spiders. Luke's a little more high on the Spiders than I am. So I would probably prefer the Guardians, but the Russo brothers are from Cleveland. They filmed Captain America, Winter Soldier there. They filmed some of Infinity War there. They filmed a lot. A lot of the movies that they filmed for Marvel happened in Cleveland. It's also the birthplace of Superman. So I think there's obviously some opportunity to tie into comic books, pop culture, those kind of things. But my guess is they'll probably lean on spiders.
All right, excellent. Well, that is your take from our man on the street, our sports aficionado, the one and only Ryan Saba. So let's get to it here.
The most electrifying voice in sports information.
That's right. That's right. At WC Sports Pod, baby. And of course, you can find Zero Dark Nerdy as well as the Water Cooler on the Believe Podcast Network, the #1 podcast platform for professionals. All right. So, as a lot of you may, or if you don't know, you obviously do not have access to a television, computer, or the internet. Disney went ahead and activated its full Death Star capacities last week and went all in and unveiled much of its upcoming slate of projects. So we're talking about pretty much they announced 100 properties, 80% of which are going to debut on their Disney Plus service. And, before we kind of get into it, I want to get your guys' take on this too. Obviously, because of COVID, the Disney theme parks have taken a gigantic hit. And I do believe that they are kind of pushing more towards a streaming platform. Streaming platform did incredibly well in its first year, 86.8 million subscribers in its first year. By 2024, they're hoping to get 230 to 260 million subscribers by then, which, of course, when you announce 100 properties and 80% of which are going to be on your show, obviously a good take. So I want to start with our man, Tim. Tim, you haven't been on the show in a while. We miss you dearly. I know you've been taking care of the family. Much praise to you, the wife, and the kitty out there. But what's kind of your take so far as just the House of Mouse and not just their announcements, but everything that's been going on since COVID, because they literally bought Fox. And when it became official, COVID was like a couple months after. So,
yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think Fox, obviously buying Fox was a huge deal for them. Among, all the properties and everything, it gave them control of Hulu pretty much completely. I think that's a big push for them. Looking at the numbers that they announced, Disney Plus and ESPN Plus are pretty much where they thought they'd be 4 years from now.
Yeah.
Wow.
The one that's behind is Hulu.
Okay.
So I think there's going to be a lot more focus on that moving forward. I know they announced a new package for the ad-free Hulu bundled with Disney Plus and ESPN
$6 more
Plus.
bucks.
Yeah, like a real good deal.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Disney's just been swinging for the fences. I mean, I signed up day one mostly for nostalgia. You get to we had a baby last year, and so it's like, oh man, we can easily show her all our favorite Disney movies. There's so much stuff there, and The Mandalorian is sort of the crown jewel, I think, right now. That's the one you hear about. But I mean, let's not forget in July, Hamilton hit. Holy smokes! It blew up, and if they keep bringing content from all avenues like they are, Nat Geo, the Star Wars stuff, the Marvel stuff, like they're just killing it.
Yeah, as they have. Saba, what's your hot take on that?
Look, I got Disney Plus free for a year through Verizon, and
Same.
I primarily have used it. I've watched a little bit of The Mandalorian. I really like The Mandalorian. It's just there's so much shit on right now that it's really tough to watch everything. I primarily use it for all the Marvel movies. Obviously they don't have the Spider-Man stuff yet, but that's coming. They've started to incorporate some of the Sony stuff, some of the X-Men stuff's on there. They have Avatar on there, which is weird. That's a Fox movie too, right? Or is it? Yeah.
Fox,
so, I use it. primarily to watch the older stuff. There's not a lot of new stuff on there, but to kind of bring my point back together, my year's subscription ended and I started paying for it immediately. So it's something that's going to continue to be in my arsenal. It's something that I you have to have, because I think the expectations were that you were going to see some of these shows that we're going to talk about right now within the first year, and because of COVID and other things, those have been delayed. But at this point, now that we're starting to see some of the previews and some of the footage from those shows, I mean, it's basically going to be it seems like they have filmed all of those shows very similar to the movies. It's a very similar visual experience. Obviously the stories are going to be drawn out a little bit, but I think Disney Plus may, 18 months from now may end up being, it's certainly not going to overtake Netflix, but it'll be a premier platform.
Yeah. Agreed.
Real quick to
go ahead.
your point. It just occurred to me, a lot of folks got that year for free. And that's probably why this event happened when it did.
Yeah.
And they came out guns blazing.
Yeah.
Sure.
Like, stick around for the second year, because
start paying us.
Right. Actually,
here comes a lot.
Yeah, honestly, Tim, that's a very good point, because my 1 year literally just went up just like Saba's, and I'm like, well, of course I'm going to continue to pay. And what I like about Disney Plus too, especially with their movies, that a lot of other streaming services don't do, and this goes with movies as well as TV shows as well, and you can kind of see other streaming services start piggybacking off of this, is the fact that when you're watching, whether if it's Endgame, Infinity War, that most streaming services don't have the stuff that you see when you would buy a Blu-ray or buy a DVD, which is like the behind the scenes, the deleted scenes, stuff like that. And Disney, I thought, from the get-go, did a fantastic job of incorporating that in. And now you see, like with Peacock, as they're getting ready to pick up The Office back from Netflix, they've already said that, listen, after season 2, which they didn't have a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff, like they didn't even know if the show was going to make it after season 2, that you would have access to a lot of those deleted scenes and episodes that never aired. So, I think they definitely set the trend with that. And again, I mean, 86 million the first year, to reach 230 million to 260 by 2024. It's Disney. I don't think it's a stretch by any means. I mean, they own damn near just about everything except for Netflix and Amazon, and give it like another 5 or 10 years and who knows how that will go down.
The other thing that I don't think they take enough advantage of, and I'm not sure if other platforms have this. HBO Max would probably be smart to pick this up, but they have that group viewing experience that you can do, where basically the three of us could be watching the show together and then communicate back and forth. Now, with like Roku's and Fire Sticks and all that, there's microphones on the remotes now. So we could basically say, oh my God, did you just see that? And it would pop up on the screen. I think that's something that's going to end up being a valuable feature if they could really kind of continue to improve it and Jesus, just market it, right? Yeah. And again, I think HBO Max, with everything they're doing with the Warner Brothers movies and bringing everything out the day that it launches, I think that's an opportunity too, because frankly, we don't know what the next 6 to 12 months are going to look like.
Right.
Vaccines on the way. Well, vaccines don't work if people don't take them. So, right. So there's just, we don't know what the next 6, 12 months is going to look like. So, the next 12 months could look very similar to the last 12 months. And, I think there's just going to be an opportunity for all of us to communicate in different ways and enjoy viewing in different ways together, which I'm looking forward to and really want to try to start to utilize more.
Honestly, that's a great point, because it's that mystery science theater feel to it, to where we could all, and we do this anyways when we're together or not together. We're watching a movie. If we're together in the same room, we're talking about, what is this idiot doing going into that room, this, that, and the other. And if we're not in the same room, we're sitting there texting each other like, I can't believe this dumbass did this. So it's another way for, whether if you're an influencer, podcaster, YouTuber, to take advantage of being able to witness more movies at home, but having that group element and then being able to incorporate the, for lack of a better term, the shit talking element that always comes with the movie going experience. So it's an excellent point.
If like when some of these movies come out or even the shows, if the director is able to hold a viewing party where you can be in there and the director can kind of be providing, when we shot this scene, this actor was doing this, you know what I mean? That there could just be a whole different experience. Or frankly, let the Russo brothers hold an Endgame viewing party, right? And then have Downey come in and Hemsworth and Evans. I'm calling them all by their last names. Like we're all,
you're on that bro level with them,
right? Like, but that's the kind of shit that they could start doing. And I mean, if I see something that says, okay, next Saturday night at 8:00. Watch Endgame with the Russo brothers, and every 30 minutes a different Avenger is going to be a guest, and they're going to talk and provide commentary while the movie's going. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
So I think there's just a lot of opportunity.
Yeah. Don't be giving away too much, Saba. I still want to hold on to you here at Zero Dark Nerdy. I don't want, Marvel Studios to scoop you up, and if they do, I need to get 10% of that. So you're unleashing some fantastic ideas out there.
Nobody likes my ideas.
So what we're going to do is just kind of get into it, round table. I got a buzzer for things that Tim or Ryan are very interested in, or not interested, I'm sorry, could care less about. Then I have like a ding for things that they are. And obviously we cannot get through all of them. This would be like a 3-hour podcast if we could. So I try to, break it down as much as possible. And then I'm going to do a tally as well. And then we're going to have a blog post on this so we could actually, as far as like a stack ranking, see the things that as a unit, because I'm going to vote on it too, the three of us are most excited to see. And then I'll also send this out to the rest of everybody on Zero Dark Nerdy. Big shout outs to, of course, Matthew, Jadon, Jordan, Dennis, Courtney,
Nicole.
We're like the Avengers. I can't keep up with everybody's names. Nicole, everybody at Zero Dark Nerdy as well. And we'll send some out, some polls out to fans too, but we're actually going to stack rank it as far as what we're interested in, as far as top all the way down to the bottom. So we'll go ahead and start off with Hulu. Primarily Hulu before Disney bought Fox. It was Disney properties as well as ABC, which a lot of people may not know. Disney also owns ABC. Once they acquired Fox, they pretty much acquired the rest of Hulu because I believe Fox was the other 20% that Disney did not own, something in that ballpark. So by doing so, they've already mentioned that they want to have more of their adult focused programming on there, hence Handmaid's Tale, things like that, and they're going to incorporate more of the movies that used to come out on Fox Searchlight, as well as 20th Century Studios, which is now renamed 20th Century Studios because of the buyout, going straight to Hulu instead of theaters. So with that being said, the two main properties that I want to talk about on this and get your opinion on, I think the biggest property right now on Hulu is Handmaid's Tale. I've yet to watch it, but my family watches it. They love the shit out of it. They love the books. They love the show. The next season, which will be season 4, is coming out next year, and it's already been renewed for season 5. So kind of quick takes, as far as you guys, I don't know if you watch it or not, but just let me know, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, we watch Handmaid. We watched it from the jump. And it's one of those that we kind of count down to when the next season's going to start. It's always, you find out like 2 months ahead of time, and it's like, oh, is that out yet? Oh, it's not out yet. Oh man. So yeah, I was kind of bummed we didn't get a season this year, but good to hear we get 2 more. I'm not familiar with the book, so I've heard a lot of people say like once they got off the book, it sucked, but I enjoy
That's like
it.
anything though.
Yeah. I enjoy it. I think it's great. Glad it's sticking around.
All right. So that is a ding right there for Tim. And Saba, thoughts?
What I've heard of it, it's a little too much anxiety for me. I try to avoid anxiety. I have enough anxiety just in waking up in the morning. I don't I don't need it from my TV shows as well. I am a manufacturer of anxiety, so
It's be your new AKA.
yeah, it's probably one that I will go back and watch when it's all said and done. My brother watches it. He's big on it. So I wouldn't necessarily give it a ding or a eh. It's an incomplete, an undecided for Captain Cleveland.
Undecided. For that, you get the harp noise there. That'll be the undecided noise of the night. For myself, I'm in the same boat, just like you. I would like for it to wrap up so I could probably binge it. Again, I've heard nothing but great things. My sisters love it. Kate, I think it's Caitlin Moss. Is that her name from Mad Men? The main actress? Elizabeth Moss. She was great. I just finally got to see Invisible Man about a month ago, and she was fantastic in that. So I think she's a great actress. I do want to check it out, and I will give that one a ding, even though I haven't seen it yet. I will be excited for it to wrap up so I can just kind of binge through, because I feel like you get into some shows, and I did this with Game of Thrones and Sons of Anarchy. I got into the game a little bit late, and then I would, binge through like the first couple seasons, and it's like, now I want more. And then you have to wait. And especially with Game of Thrones, you have to wait as much as 2 years for us to get the finale that we really did not want. But I'll give that one a ding for me.
So for the record, Brian's excited for season 4 of a show that he's never watched. 1, 2, or 3. Ding.
There we go. Harp sound, baby sound. All right. And then the second one, which is probably the most surprising announcement for just about anybody that's not an original fan of this show, which I am not, and I'm going to go ahead and give it one of these. But the Kardashians, so Disney went ahead and are bringing the Kardashians over from E! to Hulu for some kind of like a worldwide thing. Apparently it's going to be like a whole Road Rules kind of thing to where they travel the world. You can only film so many seasons of them being in Hollywood. So now the next plan is
Calabasas.
Yeah, well, you know what I mean. Now the next plan is to go around the world with the shit show that is the Kardashians. So I'm interested to hear your two takes on Hulu. Well, Disney really picking up Kardashians to bring it to Hulu.
So Kylie Jenner today, Forbes released that she earned the most of any celebrity in 2020. I believe it was $590 million. The next closest was Kanye at about $170 million. That family is just sort of they intrigue me. I'm not a huge consumer of their content, but what Kris Jenner has done with that entire group and the longevity and careers that have spawned from it. Kendall Jenner is the highest paid model in the world. Kylie Jenner is the highest paid celebrity. You bring Kanye, Travis Scott into the mix. Scott Disick is like the new Spencer Pratt, right? Like he's just like the asshole that everybody hates. But Spencer was sort of like a flash in the pan. Scott Disick's been around for 10 years.
Yeah.
So I'm just very intrigued by everything that family does. And to your point, I haven't watched a lot of it. Courtney will watch it and I'll walk in. And it's just kind of them always sitting there arguing in Calabasas or whatever.
Right.
This idea of them sort of taking it out on the road and going different places and doing different things, I could buy into it because it's going to be lavish. It's going to be luxury. Everything they do is going to be very, very extravagant. It's like when you watch a Drake video, it's like, dude, this guy's lifestyle is fucking unbelievable, right?
Right.
Like it's the same thing, right? It's going to be the same thing. You're going to see their actual like lifestyle in multiple cities, and I can do it. So I'll give it a ding ding.
There you go. Two dings from Captain Cleveland there. On to our man Timmy, our man on the street, the not so macho man. What's your take on the Kardashians coming to Hulu?
So the not so macho man watches the Kardashians. Who would have guessed?
I would have.
So from what my sources are telling me Kim, Kendall, and Kylie will not be part of whatever they're doing.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's basically the ones that need money.
So like fucking Rob and
No, so I think it's Chris, Courtney, Chloe, and Scott are the kind of the main group. I like Scott. I think he's hilarious and adds some.
he's awesome.
Scott just doesn't give a shit. That's why I love Scott.
And when they get out of hand and they're like, "Oh, my $300 shoes are the wrong color white," he's like, "Listen to yourself. You're ridiculous."
Yeah. Yes.
But my wife loves it, so she's the source, by the way. She's my inside scoop. So
I was wondering who your source was. I was going to ask.
It's her. So for her, I'll give it a ding.
Right.
I'm a little disappointed at that, but as long as they got Scott and, look, Courtney's, I think, look, we're not misogynistic here. I'm just coming out. I think in my opinion, I've always thought that Courtney has been sort of the most attractive one. She's the oldest, so I dig her. I dig her style. I dig her vibe. So I'm in.
All right. 2 dings. So 2 dings against one X. None wrong with that. Again, we're going to tally all this up at the end of the show. So that's going to wrap it up for Hulu. There weren't too many announcements. They made the announcement about, it wasn't really an announcement. They aired Happiest Season with homegirl from Twilight, Kristen
Stewart,
which actually was not a bad movie. I watched that with Ashley the other day, and it was pretty good. So that was about it. Not a lot on the Hulu front. So next we're going to go to FX.
Hold on, before you leave Hulu, I want to add one thing. They've made a big push to start bringing in big stars. I noticed. I think they announced a movie with Nicole Kidman and Michael Keaton. I can't remember now if that was 2 separate movies, but most importantly, a comedy, I think, series with Martin Short and Steve Martin.
Oh, so, wow.
Sign me up for that one.
Yeah. I did not know that. So now that sounds great. And I will say this, too, for Hulu. One of my favorite Hulu properties and probably one of the, I don't want to say biggest surprises of 2020. And I think, Saba, you and I had this conversation, and I just started rewatching it again. Dave with Lil Dicky is absolutely outstanding. 8 episodes, 30 minutes long. Even if you're not a fan of Lil Dicky, I highly suggest you check it out. It was renewed for season 2, and there's no word yet as far as a release date, but that was phenomenal Hulu property in my eyes.
LD.
So moving on, we're going to go to FX now. 2 of the biggest announcements that they had. Well, I mean, there was a few ones. The biggest one that came is Always Sunny in Philadelphia, the little show that could. I mean, I remember watching and I have the first season on DVD, and it has their 2 pilot episodes, which were 5 minutes long and literally just a one shot in a Hollywood alleyway. And it truly shows you, like, I'm not going to say this works for everybody, but literally, if you work your ass off, you dream it, like, you just never know what's going to happen. And especially with the addition of Danny DeVito in season 2, really, really skyrocketed the show. And it's already been the longest running television show of all time that's not animated, besides Cops. And I think it actually surpassed Cops. But now it got extended for 4 more seasons already, which is just incredible for, really it was Rob and Charlie Day that started it. And then they brought on Dee, and then, of course, Dee's brother. I can't think of their names right now. So, I mean, to me, congratulations to the Always Sunny crew for such a tremendous feat. I mean, 20 seasons of any kind of show is unheard of. And then Atlanta has been renewed, which I know is one of Saba's favorites,
2 seasons.
For 2 more seasons. Yep. So as far as before we kind of go down the line, which is not a huge line that I have for FX, but what's your opinion as far as Atlanta and Always Sunny in Philadelphia?
I'll talk more to Atlanta because I've watched Always Sunny, but I'm not a diehard Always Sunny guy. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'll watch a few episodes here and there, but Atlanta, what Donald Glover's done with Atlanta, Lakeith Stanfield, the other guy, I can't remember his name right now, the guy that plays Paperboy, he's been getting all kinds of movie roles. It's an absolutely genius show. Great storylines. A couple episodes a season get a little weird and kind of go off into right field, but it's, I talked about this in one of our solo dubs in season one. So, I think it's one of the best shows on TV, and it's sort of has like a Curb Your Enthusiasm vibe to me, like a behind the scenes Curb Your Enthusiasm vibe. Larry David has a contract with HBO that says, I might not make a season of fucking Curb Your Enthusiasm for 9 years. And you know what? Don't ask me about it. I'll come to you and I'll tell you when I have a season. It feels to me like Donald Glover has that going on with FX, where basically they want content. We want you to make seasons, but you know what? If it takes 4 years to make a season, we're good with it. So I like that. I like the vibe. It's a great show. If you haven't watched it, there's 2 seasons of it. Watch it. You'll love it.
Yeah, and Paperboy is Brian Tyree Henry.
Yeah, and he's been in movies, man.
Yeah.
He was in This Is Us, I think. Not This Is Us. The horror movie where they have the opposite persons of themselves. He's been in a lot. Yeah, he's been in that. He's in a lot. I think he was in. He's been in a lot of movies. Okay,
Yeah.
so anyway.
Yeah. And I like the way you said that, too, before we get to Tim real quick, because there are artists like that. For instance, Justin Timberlake, he has movie deals as well as album deals, and they're not like, there's no time limit on them. And he's even said, he's like, when I feel music, this is when I want to record. And he says the same thing about acting. When I feel like I'm in the zone to act, then that's when I want to act. And that's the way it should be. It shouldn't be a rush thing just because they have a hot property and push it out. So hopefully it is like that with Atlanta, because I finally did start watching and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And Donald Glover is just a damn genius.
Trailer for a new Justin Timberlake movie actually came out today. It's on January on Apple TV. He's ex-convict. It's called Palmer, ex-convict. He's dealing with a little boy who sort of has some gender identity issues. He's kind of working through them with that. It looks like it's going to be make you cry. Palmer. I see you writing the name down, B-Hearn. It's Palmer.
Yeah, no. I was making sure I'm keeping up with the scores on what everybody's grading.
January 29th. So check that out. The trailer just came out today.
All right, I'll check it out. And then I got a buzz for you on Always Sunny, and then a ding for Atlanta.
Yes.
All right, Tim, you're up.
Not a whole lot to add, honestly. I like Always Sunny. I like Atlanta. I have not watched all of either. But what I've seen, I like of both. I do think Always Sunny is starting to get to that phase every sitcom does, where it's like,
jump the shark.
What are they going to do next? Like, you've got to get more ridiculous and more. And I mean, that show's always been ridiculous, but it is still funny. Atlanta's great. American Horror Story was also renewed. I don't watch that, but I know a lot of folks that do. So put me down for a couple hearts on that. But yeah, I mean, FX, I'm more excited about what's coming to FX than what's staying there.
What's coming?
So what's coming? Are we talking about? We can go and get right to it too, because I know Saba does not watch American Horror Story, so I'm going to put you down for a big buzz on that one. And
I get fucking scared, man. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, you're good. I don't watch it. So you're good. And even my daughter, who was a huge fan, she's kind of fallen off the bandwagon a little bit on American Horror Story. So I'll give her a little buzz for that. But the big news, and I hope this is what you're talking about, is the Alien TV show coming to FX.
Yeah, that's half of it.
Okay.
It's cool to see Disney taking the properties they've gotten and give it, through the Fox purchase, and giving them kind of the same treatment that they're giving giving Star Wars and Marvel. And, they're investing in these other franchises that they've now got at their disposal. I was talking about the Waititi series. Of course, he did What We Do in the Shadows.
Yes.
He has a new series coming out I believe it's called Reservation Dogs, about Native American teens growing up in, I think it's Oklahoma, on the reservation.
Right.
Just such a unique perspective, a unique concept, I feel like. And of course, he's amazing. So
Yeah.
excited to see what that comes out like.
Yeah. Good call. Have you guys, just real quick, have you guys seen Jojo Rabbit yet?
Yeah.
Not yet.
Oh man, it's
I'll
so
watch
freaking
it.
good. So damn good. Taika's just, he's a visionary. And I don't know if it's just him being from New Zealand and they just see things in a different aspect. But I tell you what, I'm just a huge, huge fan of the guy. And, speaking about that, we're going to go ahead and convert over to, so we have Lucasfilms. So we're going to go ahead and talk about the shows first. So obviously Mandalorian, massive hit. Massive hit. I mean, anybody, especially us Verizon users that got Disney Plus for free, that was the one thing that, we really got to enjoy from the get-go. And I'm not I'm myself, Saba, I think Tim, you're right around. I know I'm the oldest in the group, but I'm used to growing up to where you literally had to wait 1 week at a time for shows. I was not gifted with being able to binge something right away unless it came out forever ago, and maybe you got to TiVo it back in the day. So that was the one knock on Mandalorian that a lot of people were upset about, was the fact that they couldn't, sit down and watch the entire season in one day. I don't mind them taking that approach, just like Amazon. I like that they did the first 3 episodes of The Boys right off the gate and then went, 1 episode a week. I don't mind doing that. I really don't. So, they came out, hit a home run. Jon Favreau, just one of my favorite directors and people in all of Hollywood, killed it, absolutely killed it with this. And I think literally it wiped the stink off of not just the last Star Wars movie, but also like Solo, which was the last spin-off movie before we got to the final Skywalker movies, and just kind of let everybody forget about all that. And with that being said, so we'll just go ahead and get right to, so there's going to be 2 direct spin-offs on The Mandalorian. There's going to be Rangers of the New Republic, and then the Ahsoka TV show with Rosario Dawson, who's already made a cameo this season on The Mandalorian. And then eventually both of these shows will lead to a massive crossover. We've seen this work, and I want to use this term loosely, work with the CW and their, Arrowverse and all that. I obviously think, being that this is Disney and Favreau and everything else, this will tie in a lot better. But just on those 2 shows alone, and even The Mandalorian too, let me get feedback from you guys on that.
Yeah, well, I love The Mandalorian. Growing up, Boba Fett was always my favorite. And actually, I tweeted out this season, I was like, there's a man dressed as Boba Fett on a speeder bike. 12-year-old me is writing this show. That's like the stuff you play with your figures, and that's what you're doing. And this season has been just fun. Love, spoiler, I guess, I love that Boba Fett's back.
Yeah.
I know there's rumors of him getting sort of a mini series of how he got from Return of the Jedi to Mandalorian.
Right.
I hope that happens. But they didn't announce it last week. You think about Star Wars, there were 3 great movies. Then there were, decades later, 3 disappointing movies.
Sure.
Then decades later, there were 3 disappointing movies.
Right.
And it's like, this is such a beloved franchise, and not, shitting on it at all. I love all of it, honestly, even the stuff that sucks. But Mandalorian has just revitalized it, and I think that's evident with all the stuff they're doing moving forward. Those 2 shows in particular, honestly, are probably towards the bottom of my list.
Okay.
Of what I'm excited about, but pretty excited about them.
Okay. So I'll give you 2 harps for
okay. All right, for those
for the
2,
bottom of the list. All right, Captain Cleveland, what's your take on this?
Look, I love The Mandalorian. I love Favreau. I'm a little behind on The Mandalorian. We were kind of talking about this off air, but it's certainly something that I will watch. I'm a guy that I don't think I've loved loved is a little dramatic. I've liked all of the Star Wars movies in their own way. Huge fan of Episode 2, Episode 3. Definitely a big fan of 7. 8 wasn't great. I haven't seen 9 yet. I haven't seen The Rise of Skywalker yet. So, right, that's the last one.
Yep.
I haven't seen that yet. But these are all things that I will definitely watch. I loved Rogue One. I even like the Solo movie, to be honest with you. So, for you, Tim, you said that Boba Fett was your guy. Han Solo was always my guy. I love it. So, look, I love it. I'm into it. I'll watch it. I'll watch the spinoffs. A guy I work with, and again, Tim and I were talking about this off air. He's been just hounding me like, dude, you gotta watch Clone Wars. You gotta watch Clone Wars, and I'm gonna watch that. So these are all things that I will absolutely 100% consume. It's gonna get even more difficult, so it's something that I'm probably gonna have to get on now. And start watching, but I fully expect to be fully caught up on The Mandalorian in the next couple weeks, and I'll watch anything that they spin off of it, especially if Favreau's involved.
Yep, agreed. And
I get dings. I get dings on that.
There you go. Boom, boom, 2 dings. All right. So speaking of Rogue One, which Saba, you and I have had this conversation a lot. This is a conversation I have with a lot of Star Wars fans out there. To me, this is as much as the Skywalker saga. We would not have all this without the Skywalker saga. So I do not want to degrade the movies by any means. I mean, from New Hope to especially Empire, which is still, to me, one of the greatest sequels of all time, even though it's technically episode 5, but at the time it was a sequel. It's been fantastic. And yeah, there were definitely some hiccups in 1 through 3. Definitely some hiccups in 7, 8, 9. That is for damn sure. So with that being said, when they came out with Rogue One, it just hit on so many different levels to me. Just the fact that you actually get to see how the rebels got their hands on the plans of the Death Star and how much sacrifice it took, and the story in between that, and just the performances on top of that too. It was Forrest Whitaker. I cannot think of the Asian gentleman's name who was the blind guy who went strictly by the Force. No. But I mean, great performances all around. So we have the Rogue.
Our boy Ben Mendelsohn's in that.
That's right.
He's the villain.
That's right, and a very underrated actor as well. I don't know how many of you guys watch The Outsider. I know you haven't, Saba, because it is that Stephen King shit. Yeah. But Ben Mendelsohn, especially his role in Captain Marvel, is absolutely fantastic, and I'm really glad that he got to keep his accent. So whenever we've talked about this over and over again, doing like very underrated actors episode. He's definitely in that for me. But again, the Rogue One spinoff. So they are going to do one on Andor, which is the main character. Diego Luna plays him. It's going to be like a spy thriller leading up to, pretty much the events of Rogue One, which, spoiler alert, does not end well for everybody involved. So obviously a prequel. I will say this. As much as I really thoroughly enjoyed Rogue One, his character was honestly probably my least favorite.
Come on.
And that's, I get his role. I get what he was trying to do. I will probably watch the show. So that's going to be a very hard maybe for me on that one. I will watch it because, like I said, Rogue One is probably in my top 3 of all-time favorite Star Wars movies, period. Whether, the direct Skywalker franchise or spinoffs or whatnot. But that's my take on it. I want to go ahead and get that out of the way. Tim, what's your take on the Andor Rogue One spinoff?
I'm partially with you. If I'm looking at that movie and I go, I want to make a show about I want to watch a show about one of these characters, he's not my first choice.
Agreed.
That said, I'm pumped for this show. I think a lot of these shows that they announced are what they envisioned sort of the Star Wars stories being. Rogue One, Solo. I think Solo kind of put an end to that idea, which is unfortunate because Solo's not that bad.
It's really not.
But I think this and a couple others that we'll get to are kind of filling in those gaps.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm a ding on that.
Ding on that one. Captain Cleveland, where are we at on
I'm
this?
into it. I love it. I liked him in Rogue One. I liked his character. You know me, I love love, so I love the little sort of love story there. So I'm into it, man. I'm ding ding.
A ding ding and a maybe. I like it. I like it. Let me give you those dings there. All right, keeping it moving out there. Obviously, this has been announced for a while now, but they've made it official, not just with Ewan McGregor, of course, signing on as Obi-Wan Kenobi, but now they're bringing back Hayden Christensen, which, don't get me wrong, he has not been in a lot of movies or shows in quite some time now, so I'm sure he was biting at the bit for it, which I will say I really do love him in the movie Jumper, which is probably one of my most underrated, in my top 10 of underrated movies. But, he's coming back as Darth Vader. Obviously, Ewan McGregor. So this is going to take place, of course, after the events of Revenge of the Sith. So what are some, giveaways, thoughts on the Obi-Wan Kenobi series coming to Disney Plus?
I'll just reiterate what I said. I think this was in someone's mind, this was a Star Wars story movie.
Right.
And then they thought, we could make this a series and do it right.
Yeah.
There's a lot of story to be told, I think, to get you from episode 3 to 4.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, mostly it's children growing up, which is boring to watch unless they're yours, or Obi-Wan and Darth Vader. I hope this gives Hayden Christensen kind of a redemption a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I think he got a lot of undeserved hatred, I guess.
I agree.
He played the character they wrote. He couldn't.
Right. What are you supposed to do with that?
Yeah, he couldn't do it so much. So, and the Darth Vader that we have seen in recent TV and film is different from the A New Hope Darth Vader. So I think that'll be a lot of fun to be able to see, him really going full into the dark side and getting real good with a lightsaber.
Right.
And then why does Obi-Wan just go retire in the middle of the desert?
Right.
I think that'll be, it's a story that I'm interested to see. So
yeah. And I agree with you too. I mean, the great thing about Disney Plus is they're bringing these stories to life more ways that you can capture with a series than you can in a 2.5-hour movie.
Yeah.
Which is going to leave so much more to the imagination. So Saba, what's your take on that? Let me give a couple things out there for Tim.
I'm totally into this one as well. I liked Hayden Christensen as Anakin Skywalker and the transition into Darth Vader and the final battle where he got his arms and legs chopped off. I thought episode 2 and 3 were good. I mean, I really enjoyed them. So I'm in the the minority when it comes to that. I like Ewan McGregor. This is a role that I don't know if anybody else really could have played, to be honest with you, because he's kind of become Obi-Wan. So I'm into it. I'm looking forward to it. It'll be one that I will not need to catch up on.
Yeah. Good call. A couple dings out there for Saba, and I'm going to keep the dings on going. Same thing. I love Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan. To be honest with you, if I were to pick between the first 3 and the last 3, I will take episodes 2 and 3 over episodes 8 and 9, to be quite honest with you. And again, I agree with Tim as well. I do think that Hayden Christensen did get a lot of unfair, just kind of backlash. It's like, what are you supposed to do with a character that we've literally only seen with a helmet off and actual emotions for all of 5 minutes?
Yeah.
And then besides that, obviously one of the main reasons, another reason I love Rogue One is at the very end where Darth Vader is for lack of a better term, fucking shit up. You know, we don't really we see him choke people out throughout, you know, especially in the first four. And then, of course, the lightsaber battle with Luke and all that. But really, Rogue One is when it was like, okay, like this dude is. We all knew he was a badass, but that last 2 minutes of Rogue One, where I was just like, wow, this is amazing. So, yes, I definitely agree with that 100%. So just to keep it moving a little bit, now there is no mention as to if our boy Donald Glover is going to be coming back, but there is a mention of a Lando spinoff.
Yeah.
To me, I think Donald Glover is Lando.
I just don't think they're going to be able to get him.
If it's not Donald Glover, don't make the show.
Agreed.
Don't do it.
Yeah.
Or Billy D. It could be Billy D. I'd be fine with that.
Right, but I mean, if it's Billy D, they either got to do like the Irishman, like, you know, facial reconstruction like 45 years ago, or they just go ahead and go cheaper and try to get Donald Glover while he's available. So, and they better do it now while nobody's touring and nobody's really recording stuff. So, real quick on that one. So, Lando. So with Donald Glover, you guys are both in. Without, you guys are both out.
That's it.
All right.
I'm not out.
You're not out?
I'm not out.
Not out. Even without Donald Glover.
No, I'm still in.
Okay.
I'm still in for Lando.
Okay. All right. Okay.
There's just not enough details about
There's
kind
not.
of the direction that they want to go. Is this, you know, pre Solo? Is this post when he sort of,
right.
I'm my mind's he's the reason why Han Solo got frozen in the shit, right?
Yeah.
So is it you know what I mean?
How does he take over Cloud City? Yeah.
Right. Good point.
Where is this? Where is
timeline
it
wise?
Yeah. I need more details. So I'm definitely an undecided on that. But you know, regardless of where it's at in the timeline, if Donald Glover's in it, I'm in.
Yeah.
You know, but if it feels like they're trying to force it just to get content out and just do sort of origin stories on every character that's now in the Star Wars cinematic universe or whatever you want to call it, I think I need more.
And I mean, we got to remember too, you know, just because they announce all this stuff, it is Investors Day for a reason, and their stocks went up through the roof the next day because of it. Doesn't mean all this stuff's going to get made.
Carbonite. It's carbonite, right?
Yeah.
Right.
I just like that you forced it.
Yeah.
I appreciate
all right.
that.
So, just want to make sure. Okay, so to wrap up the Lucasfilm slate, now we're going to go to the movie. So there's still, and we don't have enough information to really talk about it, the Taika Waititi film that is yet to, there's no characters, there's no story, there's no plot, but he's involved. I can go ahead and give us all dings on that because if he's doing it, I will sure as hell be watching it, and I know the rest of us will. So the one thing we do know for sure is Wonder Woman director, is it Patty? Yeah, Patty Jenkins is going to be doing the Rogue Squadron film, which to me, one of my favorite things of the Star Wars films, especially 4, 5, and 6, are the scenes, like the battle scenes in space with the TIE fighters and everything else and the Rebel pilots. And of course, whenever you go to Dave & Buster's, they have like the huge, I can't think of the name, but of course it costs like $10 to play one round because it's Dave & Buster's. But you get in there and you're in a damn TIE fighter going up against everything else, and you can pick your different missions. And I mean, it's just fantastic. So the fact that we actually get a Rogue Squadron movie that's going to take place where Luke actually led it, I'm very, very excited about. So that's you know, a ding for me. Let me get a little bit of feedback from you guys on that.
I got nothing else. That sums it up perfectly. I'm pumped for it. I think it's going to be very sort of action packed, Top Gun-esque, right? Yeah. Where they really put an emphasis on the dog fighting and those kind of things. I'm into it. I love it.
Yeah, the TIE fighting and the X-Wings. Oh my goodness. Tim, where you at?
Same thing. Loved the Rogue Squadron game on N64.
Mm-hmm.
Hadn't played the new Squadrons yet, but looking forward to that. I mean, the dog fights, I'm here for it. Make me care a little more about Porkins and Biggs and Wedge and all those guys. So yeah, and I don't know if it would directly tie into this, but I've seen some rumors about Sebastian Stan playing young Luke Skywalker.
Yes.
So yeah, that was Boss Logic. I want to say our boy Boss Logic, but he might as well be our boy. He's on Instagram doing his thing, and probably one of the best people I've ever seen on Photoshop.
Oh yeah,
but he did the Photoshop version of him as a
it
kind
works.
of not young, but like middle-aged Luke Skywalker, and it looked fantastic.
Yeah. And I mean, that's how Rosario got involved. Was people were like, "Oh, she'd be great," and they were like, "Yeah, you know what?" So yeah, I'm in.
Agreed. All right, so we're all agreed on that one. And again, hopefully, we'll get more details on the Taika Waititi Star Wars film. Keeping it going now. All right, so Disney, of course, the House of Mouse has some announcements. Some of them we've known about. One of them, very, very brand new news to me. So Hocus Pocus sequel. Let me see where you guys are at as far as that goes.
Hit me with a ding. That's every Halloween we got to watch Hocus Pocus at least once. It's that nostalgia grab. Everyone's real nostalgic right now, especially like our early 30, mid 30 crowd. So I'm not surprised if everyone's available, and Lord knows Disney can afford them. So not a surprise at all. It's been rumored for a little while, so I'm in.
All right.
Cher and Bette Midler, and
it's not Cher.
It's not Cher. It's Sarah Jessica Parker, man.
I think I don't care.
We'll give you one of those.
No.
He cares less than that.
So you want the buzz?
Yeah, I don't care.
All right, so buzz for that. To me, nostalgia as well. It's not so much I'm looking forward to it. I'm definitely in the middle. Like, let's just see what they do. I have not seen the remake to The Witches yet on HBO Max. According to Tim's face, it is not worth.
Oh no, I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it.
So we'll see. I mean, we all know this with remakes. It's definitely hit or miss, and unfortunately, it's more times miss than it is hit. So keeping it moving, this was honestly the most interesting thing to me that I did not catch last week, but I caught in the article today. So they are remaking Three Men and a Baby, but with Zac Efron playing the Steve Guttenberg character. So I definitely want to hear some feedback on this.
I love the original Three Men and a Baby. That was what? It was Steve Guttenberg, Ted Danson, and who was the third man?
Oh, good question.
It was Tom Selleck.
Yes, it was Tom Selleck. Yep.
So, that's classic. They made a sequel to that, too.
Yeah,
Three Men and a Little Lady. Yeah, look, I'm into it. I like Zac Efron. I like what he does. He's fun. As he's gotten older and kind of moved away from the High School Musical persona and become a little bit more like a bad boy sex symbol or whatever. Like, I'm into his movies, So I let's see who the other two men are, but I can dig it. What's the movie that he was in? It was him, Michael B. Jordan, and Miles Teller, where
Morning After, something
whatever.
like that.
But that was sort of like a trio buddy movie, and he was really good in that. So, that's the movie that comes to mind when I think about the sort of genre that this, or the feel that this could have. I'm into it.
Tim?
So I've actually never seen the original. I'm familiar with it.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those.
Let me give the ding to Sable real quick. There we go.
It's one of those that I'll check out. I mean, it's going straight to Disney Plus. I'll check it out. Zac Efron also great in The Greatest Showman. So, but yeah, I mean, like you said, like he matured, and I got nothing against him. His show on Netflix is pretty entertaining. But if you don't mind me transitioning, the biggest shock I saw kind of on the same lines was Sister Act 3.
I did not see that.
Whoopi?
Well, tell me Whoopi's coming back.
That's about it. Whoopi's coming back. Sister Act 3.
Okay.
I think straight to Disney Plus, but I was like, yeah, all right, I'm into that.
Dude,
All right.
when movie theaters all close in about 4 months, everything's going straight to
Oh yeah.
I laugh, but goddamn, I cannot wait to see a movie. I think the last movie I saw, I was telling Saba, it was the beginning of the year. We went to go see
Once
The
upon a
Gentleman.
time. Oh yeah, the gentleman. That's right,
Yeah.
we did.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was in January.
yeah. So it was.
Thank
it was-
God,
it was
thank
right around
God we
there.
went and saw it because I didn't want to, but I
Yeah.
did.
We went.
No.
We went last Christmas Eve, and I think that was the last time.
I will
Probably
say,
ever.
there's people out there that do not like Zac Efron because of his Disney days. Where to me, I'm like, everybody's got to start somewhere. I mean, Jesus
Yeah.
Christ. But to me, honestly, I think he's made a lot of really good films. I love him in Neighbors.
Yeah.
Mike and Dave need wedding dates with him and our
The
boy
kid from
Workaholics, Adam Devine. And your movie you're talking about, Saba, is That Awkward Moment with Michael B. Jordan. But he's a very talented actor. And to your point, Tim, my daughter actually put me on to the Netflix show that he's doing, that like documentary series.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Like it's really good. So I'm definitely not a Zac Efron hater by any means. So originally when I saw it, I was just intrigued because it was more like they're really going to remake this movie. But at this point, we're in 2020 now. Like they're remaking damn near everything. So why wouldn't they remake this? But yeah, I agree with to Saba's point too. Let's see who they cast as the other two guys in this.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
a good
I do
start.
like Zac Efron, and yeah, if it's going to be right on Disney Plus, then I mean, why the hell wouldn't I watch it?
Yeah.
So dings around for 3 Men and a Baby with Zac Efron. All right, so keeping it moving, I brought this up on our pre-show. So they're also going to be doing for Disney Plus 3 sports-based movies on the lives of Chris Paul, Wake Forest's very own, Keenan Love, which I do not know a lot of information about, to be quite honest with you out there, and Saba, who is the Greek freak. How do you say his name?
Giannis Antetokounmpo.
There we go. You get an applause one for that one, because I sure as hell would have butchered that.
Antetokounmpo.
So
just call him Giannis or the Greek freak. Everybody.
I'm just going to go with Greek freak on that one. So with that being said, and we'll start with you, Saba, especially, you being with the water cooler, WC Sports Pod, for those of you maybe just tuning in or whatnot. Are you interested in all 3, maybe 1 out of 3, 2 out of 3? Like, what's your take on that? Because I'm a big fan of true stories, but I want to hear your take.
Disney always does great sports movies. I think of Miracle. I think of, Remember the Titans. I think of Invincible. I think was a Disney movie.
It was.
Disney always does great sports movies. Look, I'll check it out. Definitely the Giannis one. I don't know Keenan Love. I'll have to take a look at it. They just had a movie come out.
Safety.
The safety from Clemson, which I'll probably end up watching that. And what was the first one? Who was the first one on?
Chris Paul.
I'll watch the CP3. Local kid. He's from North Carolina. He's from up in the mountains, like Mount Airy area. Went to Wake Forest. So yeah, for sure. I'll watch him. Yeah,
Like it. A couple of dings across the board there. Tim, where are you at on these?
Yeah, nothing to add. I mean, everything Ryan just said. Disney does a great sports movie. The one you left out to me is Radio.
God, love Radio. Cuba.
So good.
Have you seen Radio,
So
Brian?
good. Oh my goodness. I got to give you the air horns on that one.
So yeah, I mean, I'll definitely check them out. I'm interested to see if it's actors portraying these guys, if it's more documentary style. I mean, the impression I got is that's the impression I got, is it's sort of a reenactment situation. So yeah, I mean, definitely looking forward to those. I would say especially the Chris Paul. So
Excellent.
Can't wait to see him punch a dude in the wiener. That's what he does.
I only, I'm going to try to sum this down a little bit. So we got Kenya Barris, obviously known for all the ish shows, Blackish, Mixish. I love #BlackAF, or what is it? Just Yeah, hashtag Black AF on Netflix. So he's got his version of Cheaper by the Dozen coming out, which to me is already Black AF on Netflix. What's a take on that one?
So I haven't watched the new show on Netflix. I will watch it. We watched the Ish shows here. We did not watch the one on Rainbow that came out, and it's since been canceled. But Blackish from the beginning, Grownish, it's on Freeform, so it's not on ABC. Little different vibe. It's for a different crowd, a younger crowd. It's we enjoy it. So I'm gonna watch the show that's on Netflix. He's on it, right?
Yeah,
And,
he's actually in the show.
Who's
Yeah.
is it
Rashida Jones plays his
Rashida
wife.
Jones, Quincy Jones' daughter. Shout out to Quincy.
Shout out to my boy Quincy.
My boy Quincy.
Yeah, shout out to Q. So yeah, I'll watch it. I love it, and I was a huge fan of the Cheaper by the Dozen movies. Steve Martin, you know, Ashton Kutcher was in those. Those were fun. What they do, 2 of them, maybe even a third one.
Yeah, they definitely did too.
They definitely
two,
did too. I was into it, so yeah, I would definitely take a more progressive version of that, a more 2020 version. Absolutely.
All right. Ding on that one, Tim.
I have not seen the. I think I saw the first Steve Martin one. Yeah, Eugene Levy's in there, right?
Probably.
I
Like
believe
his,
so.
Like the rival neighbor or whatever. I mean, again, I'll probably check it out, but not one that really hit my radar too hard last week.
Yeah, I just kind of saw that one in there. And then last one, this one I'm very partial about in 2 different ways. And I'll go ahead and kick this one off. So they are doing a remake of Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers, which was one of my favorite cartoons as a kid. That being said, I am a huge fan of Andy Samberg, who is going to play, I believe, Dale. He's going to play one of the 2.
I think Dale.
Yeah, and he, of course, Saturday Night Live, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Lonely Island.
9-9?
But yes, 9-9. And then John Mulaney is going to play the other voice. I am just one of those people where I literally try to like John Mulaney and just can't. I don't know what it is. I want to. I really do want to. It's not that I don't get his humor. It's just one of those, like, what is it in Wedding Crashers where he's like, I don't know what it is about your face, but I just want to punch it. Like, that's how I feel about, and I mean, John Mulaney, if you're watching this, I'm sorry. I don't know what it is, man. I can't get past it.
John, we'd love to have you on the show.
John, if you're watching
He's
this,
like,
I'm
I can't wait to send someone to your house to punch you in the face.
Have your people call my people. By the way, that guy right there is my people. The one that wants to punch you in the face.
So
Look,
I will give that one.
Is it live action? Is it live action or is it going to be animated?
It's a live action CGI combo.
I'm going to give it every opportunity for me to love it.
Okay.
That is my feedback.
So I have a giant list of everything that was announced, and by the way, we have not touched on a lot of it.
I know. Like I said, if we would, this would be like a 3-hour episode. I'm trying to condense
we're
as much
working
as
on
possible.
Yeah,
we're already at an hour.
I want to do a quick list in just a second.
Yeah.
Just name them, but this is the one thing that I had highlighted.
Okay.
I love Sandberg. I love John Mulaney.
Okay.
When he hosts SNL, it's what I DVR just in case I fall asleep halfway through. I've loved his stand up forever. That caught my eye. I love Chip and Dale, so pumped that they're bringing it back in some regard. I'm interested to see how they make that work. Just the CGI and all that. And
right.
I've loved all their live action remakes, to be honest. So I think it'll be fantastic.
All right. Well, ding there. So 2 dings and a definite maybe for me, for the exception of Andy Samberg. All right. So you got your list, Tim. You want to go ahead and like rapid fire?
I'm rolling through them. So next year.
Now we're still going to get to Pixar and Marvel here in a little bit.
Okay.
But, yeah.
That comes in hour 3.
So next year, a Mighty Duck series,
I love it.
a Turner and Hooch series,
Man,
a live action. So the Beauty and the Beast live action remake, they're doing a prequel with Gaston and Josh Gad.
I love Josh Gad.
I forgot his guy's name, but Swiss
Olaf?
Family Robinson. Different.
This isn't Frozen.
A Percy Jackson series.
I like the Percy Jackson movies.
I did too.
Yeah.
I primarily liked Alexandra Daddario, but
Yeah, if I can do multiple, let me go ahead and put an air horn for that one.
Okay.
I still liked them.
Some casting information about the live action Little Mermaid, which I think that's going to be good. Live action.
Who are they gonna have play Ariel?
Her name's Halle Bailey.
Okay.
Young actress. I don't know. She got a lot of flack, so she's African American and got a lot of crap because Ariel's got to be white.
No, she doesn't.
She doesn't. Melissa McCarthy is Ursula.
Oh, I love that. Who's gonna play Sebastian?
Daveed Diggs.
So, old boy from Blackish and from Hamilton.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yep.
Aquafina is the seagull.
Love that.
So yeah,
That's great. That's a fucking home.
Did you already say Javier Bardem? Did you already say him?
Oh no,
Yeah.
He's gonna play the prince
No.
or whatever.
he's King Triton.
Yep.
So who's gonna play
I don't know who
the prince?
Yeah, I didn't see that. I didn't see the prince on there. I saw Javier Bardem as King Triton, but then I can't stop thinking about him in No Country for Old
No
Men.
Country.
Yeah, Javier Bardem's probably a little too old to be playing the prince right now.
Also, a live action Pinocchio with Tom Hanks. I assume is Geppetto.
Yeah, which
Yeah.
is weird. I don't want to spend too much time on this, but for fucking years, Downey has been going on Howard Stern talking about how he wanted to make this movie a live action version of Pinocchio before Disney even started doing live action versions. He wanted to be Geppetto and da 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 da. So it was shocking to me that, well, I think him and Disney are kind of on the outs right now, but he's been talking about wanting to make this movie for years, but it's Hanks and why am I calling everybody by that? It's Tom Hanks.
You became boys with all of Hollywood all of a sudden.
And Bob Zemeckis is directing it, right? Yeah, that's going to be great.
Well, how was he on the outs with Disney? Didn't he just do Doolittle this year?
Well,
Wasn't that Disney?
I'd be on the outs too.
That wasn't all his fault.
If
then.
I'm Disney, I'm like, listen, bro, we need you to do one more thing.
Oh well, I mean, with all the damn multiverses, and that's a whole nother episode to get to. Tim, we'll let you
I shouldn't have said on the outs. That was
Yeah.
wrong. I just think him and Disney right now, their relationship isn't
Sure.
as strong as it once was.
Yeah.
Sure.
So I'll save all the Pixar stuff, but Jungle Cruise with The Rock and Emily Blunt,
Love her.
a live action Lion King prequel, a new film called Raya and the Last Dragon. I didn't see much about it, but it looks pretty solid. Some TV shows, Baymax from Big Hero 6.
Yes.
One based on Princess and the Frog, a Zootopia series, and a Moana series. And a new one called Encanto with music from Lin-Manuel Miranda. So they're just cranking stuff out.
Like I said, it's a lot to go through. I mean, if
Not
we were
all
to
this
have-
stuff's going to happen either. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
A
And if we
third
were
of
to,
it's
we-
gonna
if we
end
were
up
to
getting
record
shot.
this like when we first started with all 5 of us on at the same time, this would be like a 5-part mini series. So, but no, good list out there, Tim. I mean, that's definitely been on my radar. As far as Pixar, real quick, the big one that stood out to me, and I think stood out to everybody, obviously, is the Lightyear. I don't even want to say the prequel to Toy Story. So this is going to be the like actual movie on the character that the toy Buzz Lightyear was based on, and it's going to be voiced by Chris Evans. So very, very excited about that. I'll give that one a ding, and let me go ahead and get some feedback from you guys on that.
I thought it was great because they're making an origin story for a fictional character,
Right.
like a toy, right? But
Right.
they're saying, okay, what if this toy was really based on a person, right?
Yeah.
I think it's great. Look, we all love Chris Evans. I mean, it's hard not to love Chris Evans.
Mm.
You know, it's tough, right? Because it's sort of like De Niro playing Vito Corleone when Marlon Brando just won an Oscar for it. It's like, man, Tim Allen is
Right.
fucking great as Buzz Lightyear. So it's going to be interesting, but I think he's going to pull it off. I think it's going to be good.
Yeah, ding on that one. Tim,
Yeah.
where you at on this?
Yeah, I like it a lot. I did think it was funny that Chris Evans had to kind of make the distinction that, like, I am not the toy. I am not Tim Allen. I'm not replacing him.
Right.
This is it's a different thing. So yeah, I think it'll be interesting. Yeah. Using the properties they got.
It'll be fun.
Yeah, why not? And I mean, to me, I think it makes perfect sense because originally, if I remember this correctly, Buzz Lightyear was based off of, some kind of either a cartoon or something. So to actually have that origin story on that's already something that's a fictional toy, to have that kind of story behind it. And I mean, they could have literally picked, I mean, I love Chris Evans, don't get me wrong, but they could have picked Chris Hemsworth. I would have been happy with that choice too. They could have picked Chris Pratt. As far as the three big Chris's in the MCU, either one of those three would have sufficed, but I'm totally good with that. So let's go ahead and move.
Hold on. Tim's got some.
Just for the purists out there was a Disney cartoon in the, I guess, late 90s called, I think it was Buzz Lightyear of Star Command, that was supposed to be the cartoon show in the Toy Story world that the toy came from.
Okay.
So this movie is before that they then made this character into a cartoon and then a toy. So it's just had to get that in there for the one person that's like, oh, you're not going to talk about Star Command?
Thank you.
I'm giving you all the air horns for that one, for saving us out there. Because trust me, we do get ripped every now and again for missing some stuff.
Thank you, Tim.
I do what I can.
All right, so last but definitely not least, let's go ahead and start with the Marvel shows. Obviously, Marvel Studio is a huge factor in this whole, not Disney acquisition. They've been a part of Disney for quite some time now. But so we have the Marvel shows Gambit coming out, some set dates, some not. And then, of course, the Marvel movies that we know are at least coming out. And again, there are 3 set dates for Marvel movies, and the rest are TBD. So let's go ahead and start with the first one coming out next month, WandaVision, coming out January, I believe it's 11th. It's like middle of January, something like that. It's going to do, I don't want to say directly, but it will tie into Doctor Strange, Multitude of Madness. Of course, it's going to be Scarlet Witch and Vision coming back some way, somehow, in a lot of different dimensions and multiverses. And let's just go and get that started, because I feel like this is going to be a trend moving forward, is this whole entire multiverse thing. Whether if it's Spider-Man 3 that we're talking about, WandaVision, obviously the Multitude of Madness is the name of the next Doctor Strange movie. It seems like it's a way you can tie in things that you thought were wrapped up, but I mean, literally a way to tie in just about anything. And if it's done right, it will be great. If it's not done right, we will all shit all over it. So, Tim, give me your thoughts on WandaVision, and then we'll go from there to Saba.
Yeah, good or bad, we're all going to give them our money, so they win. It's interesting to me to go to WandaVision first, because I feel like that's going to be the hardest, to kind of grasp, I think. I mean, Falcon, not to get too far ahead, but Falcon Winter Soldier kind of is like here's 2 guys, and they're, I assume, picking up where Captain America left off and carrying on the name, and cool, great, easy story. WandaVision, I think, is going to introduce that multiverse for sure, and I think is going to do a lot to really show how powerful Wanda is. My thoughts, I think a lot of that show is going to take place in her mind, or of her own construction somehow. Probably some multiverse stuff too, but yeah, it looks really interesting how they're doing sort of a I Love Lucy and a Brady Bunch
Right.
and Married with Children and like just all the decades. Like I think it's going to be fun to watch. I think the two of them are great. Their characters are great, and hopefully it'll add a little depth to maybe the two most one-dimensional characters in, or at least in the Avengers.
Yeah.
Not a lot of depth to those two, and I think Scarlet Witch is going to be critical to Phase 4, so I'm excited.
Well said. Well said. Hang on that one. Saba, where you at?
I think it's going to be weird, and I think people are going to hate it. Right. I think it's going to be so different from kind of what they've done so far.
Sure.
But I think it's also going to lend to Tim's point, a lot of the things that you're going to see in Phase 4. I think they're going in a different direction. It's going to be a different feel, and I'm not sure if it's going to be good or not, but I think it's going to be weird. And I think a lot of like the traditional MCU fans, I just think they're not going to like it because it's not sort of Captain America and Iron Man. This is our first real view into a post, Infinity Saga MCU. Even with Spider-Man Far From Home, Tony Stark was just totally a part of that movie, right? So I think that it's going to be interesting. I will give this show every chance. I'm going to watch it. I'm not going to stop after one or two episodes. I'm going to give it an opportunity. I actually like the Wanda Maximoff character. Vision was a little meh. I think, we'll see, but I do not think it's going to be met with great reviews because of the difference that it's going to have with what people are used to.
I like it. I like the honesty as always. I'm in the middle myself. I mean, I'm a big fan of obviously weird and strange shit. So I'm definitely going to look forward to it, especially just growing up the way I did, watching old school television shows with my sisters as well as my dad, everything from the Munsters to I Love Lucy to, of course, the Brady Bunch. And I mean, Married with Children was a staple in the household. I mean, it was literally one of the first shows on Fox. So actually, I'm going to go back with a ding on that one just because of the weirdness, and I will give it a chance because of that. I do agree with Saba, though. And it's not so much diehard MCU fans. I mean, I'll never forget when I saw Infinity War come out, and you could just tell how many people really didn't follow, let alone comic books, but the MCU in general. Like, as soon as Thanos snapped his fingers and, T'Challa died, half the theater went fucking crazy. They're like, we just got him. I'm like, I get that, but, we also just got everybody else like 10 years ago, starting with Iron Man. So, yeah, I think you're very traditional, doesn't know anything about the comics, just kind of watches movies just to watch movies. Will probably not be a big fan of the show. I think maybe some of the diehard comic book fans will enjoy it. I do think because we are entering this whole new multiverse of damn near everything, it feels like, I do think people are going to be more open to it. So that's just kind of my opinion on that. So I will ding it on there. And to keep it going, to Tim's point, to me, what's going to be the buddy cop comedy version of the MCU, which literally I feel like this is going to be Lethal Weapon, but the MCU version of it
Totally
is going to be Falcon and Winter Soldier.
I'm all in for it. That's it.
Yep.
I mean, you when Jordan was at my house last Saturday before everybody got here, he had not seen the trailer for Falcon Winter Soldier, and I said, "Dude, it's like Lethal Weapon. It's like a buddy cop show." Yeah. And I'm totally in for it. I mean, it goes back to Civil War. Right? When they're laying there after Peter Parker had just shot him, and he's like, I hate you. They're both laying
right.
there like, right. It's kind of sort of continued to build on that. I think it's going to be great.
Yep. Same. I think that entire trailer summed up in that last like 3 seconds where I forget what he says, but Winter Soldier makes some smart comment, and Falcon's just like, "I really hate you."
Yeah.
It's like that's it. That's the whole show, and I'm in.
Agreed.
And
So
I love that, this is going to be sort of, it's going to be like normal Bucky, right?
Right.
Like he's gone, like he's done being like, let's put his brain back in the blender, right?
Right.
Like that's all done,
Right.
So it's like he's actually going to be kind of like a normal person.
Yeah.
And I'm really jazzed up for that because it's like, that guy's had a rough road, man.
Yeah, I agree. Because I mean, if you think about it, Infinity War as well as Endgame, he's normal Bucky as far as what we can see. For
Just not a lot of screen time,
right, like 5 minutes combined. Like he's kicking ass and he's taking names, but we don't really get to know him as someone that's not warped by a sequence of words and numbers and codes.
Breakfast.
So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to
17.
it. We all know that Falcon is Jordan Brown's favorite character. So, keeping it going on that list, again, another trailer that we got is Loki. So coming back, and I love how the trailer picks up right from Endgame, where he ends up back with the
Tesseract.
The Tesseract.
Yeah.
And then going from there. So what are your takes on the Loki trailer?
You don't know where he goes. Owen Wilson was fun.
Yeah.
I'm into it. Look, I mean, everybody loves Tom Hiddleston. Everybody loves the Loki character. Not all these shows are going to hit. And
Right.
I think some that you think are going to hit aren't, and some that you think that aren't will. So it'll be interesting. But I love Loki, so I'm into it.
Yeah, I think there's gonna be a lot of fan service in this one. I mean, Loki's had a lot of different iterations. Honestly, I mean, actual Loki in Norse mythology was like a female wolf that had babies and like weird. Marvel Loki like was a woman for a little while, and that might show up in this show. And he ran for. Don't remember if he became president, but that obviously is part of this. And it'll be a fun show, I think. I mean, he's the god of mischief. I think, we see some elements throughout the MCU of him being fun and funny, but that's not the focus. And I think that's going to be more of a focus in this. I'm interested to see what implications it puts into the main storyline. And kind of what gets brought up because of this show.
Gotcha. Excellent. I agree. I've been a big fan of Loki characters since day one. A lot of you may not know out there that Tom Hiddleston actually auditioned for the role of Thor. Did not get it, was brought on as Loki, which we are all obviously ecstatic about. So, just kind of like for the sake of time, let's do just a little bit of a speed round. As far as trailers goes, we did get a trailer for What If, which is going to be the animated version of the What If comic books, which I don't know if you have a chance to like literally stop by your local comic book store, but go pick these up. They're like $2. And it's literally like if the Silver Surfer got the Infinity Gauntlet, like all these different kind of iterations. And the guy voicing him, I cannot remember his name, but he is in Westworld and been in a ton of shows, and I'll look it up here in a little bit. But we have
Harris?
What If?
Ed Harris?
No, not him. He's the guy with the glasses. He's playing the Watcher in all of the iterations of it.
Jesus, Jeffrey Wright.
That's it. Incredible actor. He was in a Boardwalk Empire for like the last couple seasons. He's in Westworld. He's going to play the voice of the Watcher. So I just want to go down just like a couple shows and just give me like a yes or no. So we got, of course, the What If shows. We have Miss Marvel coming out. We have She-Hulk coming out, which is going to include Tim Roth coming back playing the Abomination as he did in the Incredible Hulk movie with Ed Norton. And then, of course, our boy, our original Hulk right now will be back in there. Is it Garofalo?
Ruffalo.
Mark Ruffalo. That's it. And then we have Hawkeye,
Yes.
who's going to introduce Haley Steinfeld as the daughter. And then we have Secret Invasion, which will bring back Tom Hiddleston, with rumored coming back, of course, which I can't see anybody else playing Nick Fury at this point.
Yeah.
But, of course, Sam Jackson. So just kind of going down the line, just kind of spinning off each other. Let's go ahead and start with What If and go from there.
I'm pumped for What If. That was one they announced, I think, when Disney Plus launched, and I was it's animated but voiced by the actors from the MCU. That comic book series is great. It actually introduced the original Marvel DC crossover. I forget how they phrased it, but like, what if they combine? So yeah, definitely check those out if you can. Some really, really cool, like just one shot comic stories. I think that's gonna be great. And I'm usually not as thrilled about the animated stuff. Star Wars, Marvel just doesn't grab me the way the live action stuff does, but I'm definitely pumped for that one.
Nice.
I'm into it. I'm into it. It's at probably the middle of the list for me, but I'm into it.
All right. So we'll go ahead and get some dings on there. And of course, I'm definitely into it. I have a couple of the What If comics. They're very entertaining. Again, just one shots. And to me, I'm really glad that they're doing it animated. I mean, to actually spend money to have real actors come in and this and the other. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that voice actors are not real actors, but I think that's the best way to actually do it.
It's because Brian is a voice actor.
Yeah, I wish. So the next one on there, Hawkeye, with, again, Haley Steinfeld. She voiced Spider-Gwen on Multiverse. Or not Multiverse, Spider-Man. Spider-Verse. And then she was also in Bumblebee. She's going to be playing Hawkeye's daughter. What's your take on that one? She's going to eventually take over the Hawkeye realm.
So this is one that I'm disappointed.
Okay.
Because early on there was rumors that this would take place in between Infinity War and Endgame and show him going on his rampage or whatever.
Okay.
I was like, that would be number one on my list.
Gotcha.
So I'm a little, look, again, it's probably middle. I love the Hawkeye character. I'm super pumped. But my sort of demeanor is only because the rumors kind of didn't pan out into what this is.
All right. Understandable.
Yeah,
so you want a buzzer on that one? You want the harp?
Buzzer.
Give it to him. Tim, where you at?
Question. Is it confirmed that it is his daughter?
Yes.
That sucks. So this right here, go while you're at your comic book store, get this. It's by a guy named Matt Fraction. I think there's 3 of them. This is the story arc that is going to follow.
Okay.
The girl in it is not his daughter.
Okay.
But he is sort of a mentor, so it'll still work.
I could be wrong on this. I've been known to be wrong before, but from what I read, it was his daughter.
I think you are.
Either way, he's sort of a mentor to her, and the comics are great. They're like really fantastic, and so I'm glad that they're making the series about this. I also love the Ronin take on Hawkeye. Would have been thrilled about that, but this is probably number 1 or 2 of the Marvel shows for me.
All right. Perfect. I'm going to go with a ding on my end as well, just because I'm a huge Jeremy Renner fan and I love Haley Steinfeld. So, I mean, yes, I do think that they're going to maybe towards the end of this, I don't know if it's going to be 1 season, 2 seasons. Obviously, it's going to tie into a bunch of stuff. I would like to believe that it would lead to more Ronin things. Again, I do not know the time frame on this show. It does not seem like it's going to be before Civil War, before Infinity War.
Yeah.
So, I mean, who knows? But, if they can at least maybe do some flashback scenes, that would kind of, to me, be a fair compromise.
Yeah.
So we'll go from there on that. And then keeping it moving, another one that was mentioned, Secret Invasion, which with Samuel L. Jackson and, of course, Tom Hiddleston coming back to play his character that he played on
Ben Mendelsohn.
Ben Mendelsohn.
Talos.
Yes. What'd I say?
You said Tom Hiddleston, Ben Mendelsohn.
Oh yes. Sorry.
This is right up at this one's
Tell
right
us.
up at this one's right up at the top for me. I'm
Yep.
super pumped. Love Sam Jackson. Love the Nick Fury character. Love the dynamic with them in Captain Marvel. Super pumped. Definitely a ding on this one.
Yep, same. I love the Talos character. Secret Invasion is a huge story. They can do a lot of things throwing that into the mix. So, for me, Hawkeye and Secret Invasion are the top two.
I agree as well. I'm looking forward to it because, originally the majority of us thought that Captain Marvel was going to be pretty much a Secret Invasion movie, and it ended up not being that. So I think this is going to be like kind of a great, kind of middle ground for that. So keeping it going, the next one, She-Hulk.
Can I throw one in there that you might run over that I actually have right at the top of my list, and it's the Armor Wars.
Oh yes, please do. That was actually the last one I was going to mention.
They're bringing back the Justin Hammer character, Sam Rockwell. So it's gonna be War Machine, and it's gonna be Sam Rockwell or Justin Hammer. Yeah. I'm all in on that one. I loved the Justin Hammer character in Iron Man 2. That one's right at the top of my list. I'm so pumped for that.
Yep. All of that. Yeah.
Dings all around. I'm very glad you said that because that was going to be the last one that I mentioned. And I mean, literally, the premise is, and it's Tony Stark's greatest fear is his technology getting into the wrong hands. So, and again, that one is fantastic. So, last but definitely not least, let's go ahead. I know we kind of skipped over She-Hulk and all that, but we only got so much time, and I'll try to do my best to split this up into 2 podcast episodes because I'm not Joe Rogan here. All right, so the Marvel movies. So we finally have at least an official release date. It might be tentative, who knows? But as of right now, May 7th, 2021, Black Widow. Thoughts?
Give it to me. I mean, just give it to me. I mean, at this point, it's been pushed back and delayed so much. I mean, the movie's there; it's ready.
Yeah,
they could have very easily put it out at this point. I mean, I get it, right? They wanna bank on it, maximize it, but I'm into it. I love it. It'll be great. I think it'll be great, and it's also going to lay the groundwork for the future Black Widow with the other gal that's in it with her, and I think old boy Hopper from. He'll be good as Taskmaster. Right? He's Taskmaster, right?
No. He's the Russian Captain America.
The Russian Captain America. but anyway, I think it'll be fun. I think it'll be good. I expect it to be good.
I'm excited to see Taskmaster. I think it will be good. I'm honestly surprised they haven't done what they did with Mulan and do the premiere $30 whatever thing on Disney Plus. I think a lot of people would have. And then with Wonder Woman going straight to HBO Max, I figured they'd do the same with Black Widow. So, I mean, we'll see what happens come May, but finally.
Here was the kind of biggest shock to me, and they didn't really announce it. I mean, there's a date, but they did not talk much about it, and I don't know if this date is accurate or not. Because I have 2 dates on here. So we all know that last or this year we were supposed to get, of course, Black Widow, and then right around November, I believe you're supposed to get the Eternals. Mm-hmm. So now, they didn't really talk about it at all that I can remember.
They have a date for it though.
Well, that's the thing. I have 2 conflicting dates. So I have one that's November 5th, 2021, which makes more sense. And then there's one that says February 12th, 2021.
I don't think so.
I don't have anything in February.
No.
All right, so I'm going to go with the November 5th, 2021.
They're gonna maintain the same timeline.
That's kind of what I'm hoping because right now, as far as dates go, again, just like it was supposed to be this year, it was supposed to be Black Widow first, and then the Eternals in the fall. So if that stays true, we're still looking at Black Widow May 7th of 2021. So now we're looking November 5th for Eternals 2021. So before we get into the next 2 movies that have set dates, feedback on all that? I know we talked about it briefly on our 2020 previews, but any expectations, hopes, this, that, and the other for Eternals?
Well, Eternals is just going to lay the groundwork for mutants. So and I believe that they're actually there's rumors that they're going to do something Fantastic Four in post credits, which so makes sense. I'm into it. I'm into the whole Eternals story. I don't know much about it, but it's got a great cast.
Yeah.
They're sort of the they're the beginning of
Right.
of everything, right? So I'm into it.
Yeah, I think with the cast they've got a lot of things they can do after the fact. Names that are attached to this, they expect a lot from it. So there's no reason to think it's not going to be great. And shout out Kumail Nanjiani for getting ripped.
Yeah. Lot of Disney Plus shows they can spin off from this, right? They don't have enough already.
Yeah, no shit. Things across the board on that one. All right, so after that, the next confirmed date we have, and I do believe that this is wrapped up now. Now they're just in post-edit, is going to be Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings coming out July 9th, 2022. So thoughts, feedbacks, reactions.
I think that's 2021.
Really?
I think that's coming in between Black Widow and Eternals. That's the list I saw.
You know what?
Anyway.
My handwriting sucks. I believe you're right.
All right. I'm excited for it. The Ten Rings showed up in Iron Man 3.
Yeah.
3.
And the first Iron Man too, but just briefly.
Yeah. And just sort of an afterthought in those two. So it'll be cool to see it actually kind of, really thought out, fleshed out, and show that the Ten Rings is a legit thing and not just Ben Kingston being a weirdo.
Thank you. We need a true Mandarin. That's what it is.
So I love the theory that he is actually the Mandarin.
Uh-huh.
And I keep wanting to say the Mandalorian, and that the actor thing is a ploy to get him to where he needs to be, and he's in prison recruiting and all this kind of stuff. But
okay,
we'll see about that.
All right, TBD.
I know very little about this character, but I knew very little about Guardians of the Galaxy before it came out as well. So Marvel's been really good at sort of hitting home runs with some of these obscure characters that people know less about. So I'm pumped for it. I like the idea of, it's the last time they came out with a superhero that kind of looked different from traditional superheroes. Mm-hmm. It was a home run. So this, little known, this is a different looking superhero. I'm all over it. I'll watch it. I'll watch it when it first comes out. I'll go to the theater, or I'll watch it. I'll pay the extra to watch it on Disney Plus without a question.
Excellent. All right, and then the last confirmed date, and then after this, we'll do a round robin like that. I do believe this is like officially our longest podcast episode ever. I'm looking at the clock. I'm like, shit. So last confirmed date, unless COVID and the pandemic likes to mess it up even more, Doctor Strange, Multitude of Madness, March 5th, 2022. My prediction, I'll go ahead and start this off. I do believe that this is where everything just completely hits the fan, but in an interesting way. And I mean that in the best way, because obviously Kevin Feige and Marvel Studios is just a well-oiled machine. I mean, it's been a hit factory. Of course, like the first couple Thors were not that great. I mean, they've had a couple misses here and there, but for the most part, they're like Motown back in the 70s, just cranking out hits. And I expect not only would this be a hit, of course, there's been rumors that this will be the first appearance of Mahershala Ali as Blade. Yes. A lot of stuff going on with this. And I think that obviously that this will lead into the Spider-Man 3 multiverse that we already have been getting tons of rumors about. So that's just kind of my prediction about it. Of course, I'm all in for that. I was not a huge fan of the first Doctor Strange film. It's no surprise or no secret. I'm not a huge Benedict Cumberbatch fan. I respect the guy as an actor.
You called him Benedict Cumberdick.
I said Cumberbatch.
No, you did.
Yes, I did.
You called him Cumberdick.
I'm gonna put that to that. Benedict, I love you.
Benedict
We want you on the show.
Benedict, have your people call my people.
There you go. All right. So feedback on so far the last official date coming out for a Marvel movie.
I'm excited for it. I like the first one. I do like Benedict Cumberbatch.
I said Cumberbatch.
Benny Cumbo, as we call him.
Benny Cumbo.
I mean, it's going to pull a lot. It can pull a lot of things together. I mean, they could use this to make everything X-Men have ever done canon in the Marvel universe. They can, I mean, whatever they want to do. This is going to open such a door to insanity, along with another movie I'm sure we'll get to in a little bit. But I did like the first one. I like Benedict. I think the last two Avengers movies did more for Doctor Strange than his own movie did. But
agreed.
Now we have a Doctor Strange that we like and we know, and let's do it.
Agreed. Agree with you 100% on that. Because, I mean, I wasn't a huge fan of the villain, or literally two villains in the first Doctor Strange movie. So we'll see what happens. And, of course, they're saying WandaVision is going to tie in directly into this movie as well.
Yep.
I think one of the things I like the most about all of this is sort of the rumors about who is going to be introduced when, and I'll touch on, I'm sure we'll touch on it as we hit some of these other movies, but obviously bringing Blade into the fold is in itself is enough for this, not to mention all of the literal and figurative doors that this is going to open for, MCU Phase 4, Phase 5. Right. I mean, this movie is really, I think, everything up to the point of this movie is going to be sort of build up. And then once that happens, it's going to be sort of a blast off situation.
I think if this first, 10 years was the Infinity Saga, I think we're about to get into the multiverse saga.
Yeah. Agreed. And to Saba's point, too, I think that this is going to be our Phase 4 Avengers film.
Yeah.
As far as we don't know where we're going, we don't know who the big bad's going to be. Of course, we've had this discussion a bunch of times as far as it's going to be Doctor Doom.
We know
Galactus. Now. So obviously that
we know now.
Yeah, that we do. So speaking of which, we did get a little bit of insight. And I don't want to get too much into Spider-Man 3. The rumors have already been out there. We've seen cameos, this, that, and the other. Of course, we're excited about it.
I'm pumped for the Tom Holland cameo in that movie, actually.
Eventually, Tom Holland will show up in his own movie.
Fucking Christ.
Exactly. Every week. And they're like, what was it? Oh, I saw one the other day where it was the guy that was on Chappelle's show. He played Ashy Larry.
Yeah.
And he was the pizza guy.
Yeah,
and he was like, going to make a cameo in Spider-Man 3 as a guy that's like, oh shit, that's Spider-Man.
So I don't want to spend too much time on this, but I actually follow a site that has sort of, they and be here and discredits this site. I can't even remember the name of it.
Do not talk about fucking.
I'm not even saying the name. Let's just talk about what I read today or yesterday.
Okay.
The way that it's going to play out is basically Tom Holland's going to be fighting the Sinister Six all at the same time. And he's going to be getting fucking stomped. And Doctor Strange is going to come and he's going to open a multiverse portal. And motherfucking Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield are going to drop down through. I'm getting fucking goosebumps.
I'm
talking about it.
I hope that
and
happens.
They're going to fucking drop down through it. And they're going to come and they're going to fucking save them. And dude, they can do anything with this.
Yeah.
They can do anything. And that's the beauty of it.
I saw today on top of all the villains that they've already, Dr. Octopus from Spider-Man 2 and Electro from The Amazing Spider-Man. I saw today Green Goblin from The Amazing series and
Sandman's coming back.
Hobgoblin, Sandman.
I wouldn't rule out Tom Hardy being in this movie either.
That's if I'm Sony and I'm still letting you use what we technically have rights to. You're tying in my freaking Tom Hardy Venom.
Yeah.
And well, shoot, what's his name? Morbi.
So Morbius, and that's another
Morbius.
thing too, because we saw in the Morbius trailer that Vulture was on the very end of that trailer, and I think that's going to lead up to the whole Sinister Six thing. So eventually, Sony and Disney, obviously they're on terms. I'm not going to say that they're good terms, but they're going to have to figure this thing out to be like, listen, obviously you don't fully own Spider-Man. We need to bring him back for a couple of things here. We're going to do this. They're going to have to figure out how to tie all this shit in together so they can all make a ton of money.
If I'm in charge at Sony or near the top at Sony, I'm walking in a room and I'm saying, look, we better be getting fucking good with Marvel because
Right.
we're hurting ourselves here. Like keeping fucking Tom Hardy's Venom and Spider-Man to ourselves, that honestly, that's not helping us. That's just pissing off comic book fans.
Right.
And it's I mean, if we reboot Spider-Man a fourth time,
Come on.
Oh God, no.
stop it.
Because everybody loves Tom Holland.
Yeah,
it's true.
And it's one of those things. So even if we didn't love Tom Holland, there has to be a break. That's why I'm glad that once Disney did absorb Fox, that we didn't go right to, okay, who's going to be Wolverine right now? Like, let's just take a chill pill. Everybody freaking relax. Let's enjoy some movies for a while, and then we'll get to all that later.
So speaking of Wolverine, sounds like Black Panther 2 is going to be when you get post credits is when you get your first peek at the new Wolverine, or at least some hint of who Wolverine is.
Nice. Did not know that. And
because they're going to tie adamantium in because of they're going to have to tie Wakanda into
adamantium.
Yeah, into his
vibranium
skeleton. They're going to have to tie that together.
Yeah, and they did announce this past week too that they are not going to replace Chadwick as King T'Challa, which is great. So they're still moving forward with the Black Panther 2 with the same director for Black Panther 1, but they are not looking to replace him, which I'm very happy about. So we'll see what happens with that. Just to kind of wrap things up, the last two on the list. Kind of big news on the Thor Love and Thunder train is Christian Bale has been brought on board to be one of the villains, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
The God Killer or whatever.
Yes.
He's got this black sword that he basically it increases his power and he's able to fucking kill gods. So.
I'm just and I'm interested to see him in the MCU, especially such the method actor that he is to take on a role like this. So I'm sure he's excited. I'm excited to see him in this role. And then, Saba, you and I talked about this last weekend at your place. Kang the Conqueror coming into Ant-Man and the Wasp. I believe it's called Quantumania. Yeah.
Yep.
So another one I'm excited about. I'll let you guys kind of, talk about that a little bit, but that's the most that I know is I'm just looking forward to seeing Kang the Conqueror.
Just for people that don't know, Kang the Conqueror is from the future. So all of this shit that's happened from Endgame and what's going to happen moving forward is going to open the door. He's going to come back from the future, and there's going to be a lot of tie-ins. From what I hear, Josh Brolin's not done in the MCU, and he may take on a different role. Not as a bad guy, so he may actually become. And for those of you that don't know, Josh Brolin played Thanos, so there are scenarios in some of the comic books where Thanos is actually on the good guy's side. Look, I'm listen. We're so far away from that, and so much needs to happen. I mean, basically, Ant-Man 3 is the last movie that they've talked about that's going to be here. So we're talking 2023, maybe even early 2024 before we get that. You got a Fantastic Four movie that's coming before that. So a lot is going to happen. The one thing, and I'll let Tim go on this after I say this, this iteration, the multiverse saga, or whatever you want to call it, it's going to be so different from the Infinity Saga, only because of content and direction and feel and look and all that. But when they started the Infinity Saga, they didn't know that they were making the Infinity Saga, and then they started, doing these spin-off TV shows that never tied in and all that. Everything is going to seamlessly tie in to something else. This is going to be the most just dialed in next 10 years of a combination of television, movies. Everything's going to have its place. There's not going to be any holes, and it's just it's exciting, man. It's so exciting, and it sucks that it continues to get delayed, but it's going to be fucking phenomenal, and I'm gonna watch it all. I'll pay fucking $30 for all of them. I don't give a fuck. Let's go. Boom.
Yeah. King is your phase 4 big bad. I think if he's not already introduced, he's got to show up in, post credits for Fantastic Four. Unless, they end up jockeying those timelines a little bit, but, I'm pumped for it. I don't know if you guys have watched Lovecraft Country, but the actor, I forget his name, he's fantastic.
Yes.
In
Jonathan Majors.
Yeah, that's super weird show.
Yeah.
But he's great. I'm excited for that. It's interesting to think about the MCU and some of the things that towards the end of the Infinity Saga, fans started pointing out missteps here and there.
Sure.
And they went back and they fixed pretty much all of them. But imagine had they had the foresight when Iron Man 1 came out that this is the next decade. Yeah, it's gonna be incredible. And with Star Wars we're seeing kind of the same thing, but it's a much bigger picture. There's a bigger timeline, and there's way more characters. I mean, you could go anywhere in the universe. Whereas the MCU is this little hub, and it's all gonna tie together. It's gonna be incredible. To jump back real quick, Thor: Love and Thunder, I'm pumped.
Oh yeah,
so pumped for that. I mean, Ragnarok took everyone by surprise. We were like, really a third Thor movie? All right, I guess.
Yep.
And it was incredible. Yep. And this will be the first solo fourth movie.
Yeah.
3 Iron Man, 3 Captain America, 4 Thors. Who would have guessed?
Yeah. I mean, especially after the first 2. I mean, Ragnarok really saved it for me. And yeah, you bring in a genius like Taika Waititi, and then all of a sudden things change rapidly. And then obviously with Guardians 3, still in the works as well.
But that's the thing.
With him on board with that.
Yeah, but what they've said about Guardians is Guardians 3's, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You may see Peter Quill after that, but the rest of them will not be around. So
and the Christmas special.
Yeah. Right.
And the baby Groot shorts.
And the baby Groot shorts. Yeah, and that's another thing. Like I said, I mean, I if we were to literally go down everything on this list, we would be recording till 12:30 tonight.
Well, we already went
over 2 hours in.
Yeah.
So I'll have to break this up some way somehow. But gentlemen,
sorry.
Hey, no, I'm glad we did it. It's on YouTube now. Feel free to share it on your Facebook pages. And I'll end up breaking this up. I mean, it's definitely going to be 2 parts. I might break it up into 3 parts and then just honestly release them all in the same day. But I think you guys have been fantastic. We covered a lot of ground. I mean, Disney just straight up dropped a bomb on all of us more than they ever have before, and was just like, here's everything we're doing. Fuck COVID. We don't even give a shit about theme park sales right now. All our focus is on movies and Disney Plus.
Well, remember we talked about it early on. I made a comment, I forget, in one of our episodes where it's like I felt like there was going to be so much content coming out of COVID because all people were able to do was just write, think. Come up with ideas, and now you're going to see the fruits of that. I think, you're going to see some really great music over the next couple years, really great TV. It's just an opportunity for people just to be really creative, and we're going to be able to take advantage of that. So thank you. thank you, COVID, for the one fucking good thing that came out of this.
And spending time with our loved ones a little bit more. But obviously, Tim, thank you for coming back and take care of that little baby out there. Happy holidays to you. Saba, have a safe trip up to Cleveland this weekend.
I'm going to Cincinnati.
Back. Are you going to Cincinnati?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, either way, have a safe
trip.
I
wish I was going to Cleveland.
And as always, make sure you check us out. Check out our podcast. Of course, Zero Dark Nerdy and all your favorite podcasting formats. Our website, popculturepodcast.com, for all your news, notes, blogs, entertainments. Our very own Not So Macho Man Tim taking care of all your WWE, AWE, anything wrestling pretty much officiated. Tim has been the man on the spot for that. Ryan Saba, of course, with the water cooler. Tell them where they can find you at, sir.
At WC Sports Pod, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and you can find us. Just search the water cooler. Every single place that you get podcasts, you can find us, and you can also find us at the Believe Podcast Network as well.
There you go. And again, happy holidays out there to everybody. Merry Christmas, Feliz Navidad, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Hanukkah. We will see you back in 2021. Not saying that we're going to cure everything, but we're just trying to put a couple more smiles on your faces out there and try to entertain the masses. So thank you for listening. Be sure to like, subscribe, follow Water Cooler Sports Pod, of course, and Zero Dark Nerdy. Be sure to check out the website. Big shout out to our sponsors, Believe Podcast Network, the #1 podcasting platform for podcasting professionals. Of course, betonline.ag. Andrew Newman, attorney at law, taking care of all your civil, criminal, and traffic court needs in the state of North Carolina. And of course, Yes Weekly, the best publication in all of the Triad. Thank you all so much. We'll see you next week. Peace.
See ya.
Yeah! Victory!
And anger management?
Fuck anger management.
Thank you for listening to Believe. You can show support to your host by subscribing to the show and giving us a 5-star rating on your preferred platform. Check us out at Believe.com and search for BLEAV on YouTube.
Hey, it's Michelle Beadle. That's right, the Michelle Beadle. You're welcome. You love talking about sports. I love talking about sports. You know the only thing cooler than talking about sports? Sports! And right now, all your favorite sports are on Sirius XM. I'm talking every NFL game, every game from the NBA, NHL, MLB, every NASCAR race, golf major conference college sports, and all the top games in the WNBA. If it gets your heart pumping, it's on Sirius XM. So start your free trial of Sirius XM today. Visit SiriusXM.com/believe.